Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of The Dictionary. If you are enjoying this show, you probably need to listen to a few episodes before you know if you're enjoying it or not. But if you are enjoying it, I really would appreciate it if you first subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this with other people, follow me on Instagram and Twitter for some reason. I'm not sure why. Still trying to figure that out. If you want to talk to me, you can also do that over social media. At dictionarypod is on Twitter and Instagram. And there is an email, dictionarypod@gmail.com. There is a Patreon thing, link in the show notes. There's a Google Voice number you can call and leave a message. And then we can talk not directly. Okay, so this is the last section of page 285. We got a couple of lines on the next page. The first word is counterpart. Again, lots of counter words. All of these will be one word unless otherwise noted, and I believe they are all one word again. Counterpart, noun from the 15th century. One of two corresponding copies of a legal instrument, and the synonym is duplicate. They're the same thing, so they are counterparts to each other. 2a, a thing that fits another perfectly. And that reminds me of the Shel Silverstein book, The Missing Piece. The Missing Piece. They are counterparts to each other. Maybe I will post a picture of that if you're not familiar with that story. 2b, something that completes. Completes what? Just completes in general. Completes. As in the synonym. That's not how you do that. The synonym is complement. Interesting. So complement is a very similar word to complete. So something that complements something else, it completes it. You complete me. Counterpart. 3a, one remarkably similar to another. They're like doppelgangers. 3b, one having, well, doppelgangers, that's more of a visual thing. Doesn't necessarily have to be a visual thing. They're just similar in ways. 3b, one having the same function or characteristics as another. As in the example, college presidents and their counterparts in business. Okay, the sound effect for today is going to be, it was suggested by my brother-in-law, Jim, and he's a big fan of trains, so he suggested I do a train horn. Toot toot! Maybe it'll evolve as the episode goes. Okay, so the next word is counterparty, noun from 1980, a party to a financial transaction. A party to a financial transaction. It's a group, something. I think a counterparty should be people next door to where the party is happening, and they're having a counterparty. What is involved in a counterparty? Just sitting there quietly? I think that's what it would be. Hey guys, let's have a counterparty. It'll be fun, I swear. Toot toot. Next is counterplan, noun from 1788. 1, a plan designed to counter another plan. We don't like your plan. So instead of trying to convince you not to do your plan, we're just going to make a plan to stop your plan. Great, thanks. 2, an alternate or substitute plan. So maybe plan B, plan C, plan D, those would all be counterplans. Next is counterplea, and plea is spelled P-L-E-A, noun from 1523, a replication to a legal plea. Toot, 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 toot. Next is counterplot, first form, noun from circa 1611, a plot designed to thwart an opponent's plot. A plot designed to thwart an opponent's plot. Toot toot. They definitely go toot toot. I'm pretty sure I've heard trains do that. Okay, second form of counterplot, transitive verb from 1662, to intrigue against. Also, foil with a plot. Ah, drats. Foiled again with your counterplot. Ha ha. Next is the first form of counterpoint. We will have just two. Counterpoint, noun from the 15th century. 1a, one or more independent melodies added above or below a given melody. And if I put an example in yesterday's episode for counter melody, you can just go back to listen to that, and it'll be close enough, I'm sure. 1b, the combination of two or more independent melodies into a single harmonic texture in which retains its linear character. And the synonym is, well, I would want to say it polyphony, but I'm pretty sure it's pronounced polyphony. Poly is multiple or many. Phony is probably like sound. Polyphony. But, they're harmonic together and they retain their linear character. What is their linear character? I don't know. If I find another example, maybe I'll put it in. 2a, a complementing or contrasting item. Synonym is opposite. Yeah, there's those news shows. Point, counterpoint. Isn't that a thing? Was that a real show? Was that a spoof show? I don't remember. I think it's a real show. But yeah, I got a point, but hey, I got a counterpoint. I'm gonna be the opposite of you. 2b, use of contrast or interplay of elements in a work of art. And the example is a drama. So maybe a drama might have some... Would that mean that it would have like comedy and drama? There'd be counterpoints? I'm not entirely sure. The etymology says this is from Latin contra, which means counter, plus the Middle Latin punctus, which means musical note or melody. Punctus, Punctus. Also, just from, I guess, punctus is also just regular Latin, which means act of pricking? Act of pricking? What is that? And then also the verb pungere, which means to prick, and there's more the word pungent. I am at a loss for how to connect that to counterpoint, other than the musical note or melody one. Act of pricking, prick, pungent. Nope, my brain can't do it. Toot toot. Now we have this second form of counterpoint, transitive verb from 1875. 1. To compose or arrange in counterpoint. 2. To set off or emphasize by juxtaposition, also set in contrast. As in, counterpoints the public and the private man. That is a quote from Tom Bishop. So, counterpoints the public and the private man. There's a man, and he has a public life, and he has a private life, just like most of us. And those are counterpoints to each other. I don't know, it seems like there's more to the sentence, though. We're missing it. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Train's coming through. Boop, boop. Next word is counterpoise. Poise. First form, transitive verb from the 14th century, and the synonym is just counterbalance. Counterbalance. I don't know why I say words twice sometimes. I don't know. I just think it's good to repeat words. Helps you, helps me, maybe. This is from the Anglo-French contrepasser. Yeah, you can laugh about my pronunciation all you want. It's not going to change. So that is from contra plus pesser, and pesser means to weigh. Like, yes, a counterbalance. You're weighing it. And there's more at the word poise. Toot, 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 toot. I want to train to make that sound or something different. Okay, second form of counterpoise, noun from the 15th century. 1. The synonym is just counterbalance. 2. An equivalent power or force acting in opposition. And 3. A state of balance. Everything's been weighed out. We're in a state of balance. We are counterpoised. Next word. Toot, 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 toot. It is counterpose, transitive verb from 1594, to place in opposition, contrast, or equilibrium, as in counterpose a positive view to the negative assessment. To place in opposition, contrast, or equilibrium could be that's multiple different things. The etymology, nope, not helpful. Toot toot. Next word is counterproductive, adjective from 1959. This is my least favorite of the things, I think. Tending to hinder the attainment of a desired goal, as in, violence as a means to achieve an end is counterproductive. And that is a quote from W.E. Brock. And for some reason, it's saying that W.E. was born, I think, in 1930. So, are they still alive? Maybe? Is that why they put this in here? I don't think I've seen that for one of these examples. Does that mean that all of the quote examples have come from people who are dead? I'm not sure. Violence as a means to achieve an end is counterproductive. Okay, yes. Yes. Toot toot. Counter-programming. That's next. Noun from circa 1966. The scheduling of programs by television networks so as to attract audiences away from simultaneously telecast programs of competitors. Your show over there on that channel is so popular, so we are going to create some counter-programming to see if we can steal some of your viewers over to our side because, we don't really care about the art that we're creating or the entertainment. We just want the viewers and the money. Toot toot. Next is counter-proposal. Noun from 1885. This should be similar to counter-offer, I assume. It is a return proposal made by one who has rejected a proposal. And just to remind ourselves, counter-offer said a return offer made by one who has rejected an offer. I think it is exactly the same. Yes, I'm just going back and forth. I think the wording is exactly the same except for the word offer or proposal. Interesting. I mean, they're very similar. Proposal, though, I think offer usually means money, and proposal could be just an idea. I propose this idea. What if somebody proposed to the person that they wanted to make their spouse, and then that person, the engagee, the person said, I have a counter proposal for you. How about we do this instead of get married? I don't know. I wonder if anybody's done that. Toot, 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 toot. Next is counter punch. Noun from 1942. A counter in boxing. Also, a countering blow or attack. Counter punch is also an intransitive verb, and counter puncher is a noun. And I guess counter punchee would be the one who is getting hit by the counter punch. They're the punchee, no, they're the puncher, and they're also the counter punchee. Toot. Next is counter-reformation. Counter-reformation. Noun from 1840. Number 1, it is usually spelled with capitals at the beginning, C and R, and there is a hyphen. So that's for number 1, and it means the reform movement in the Roman Catholic Church following the Reformation. So there was the Reformation, whatever that is, things have been reformed, and then after that, there was another reform movement called the Counter-Reformation. Did it undo everything that was in the Reformation? Number 2, a Reformation designed, is that word? Yes. A Reformation designed to counter the effects of a previous Reformation. That probably happens all the time in politics and things. Toot, 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 toot. Get out of the way of the train, toot. All right, our last word is counter-revolution. Still, all one word. Noun from 1793. 1. A revolution directed toward overthrowing a government or social system established by a previous revolution. Very similar to counter-reformation. And 2. A movement to counteract revolutionary trends. Counter-revolutionary is an adjective or a noun. We didn't like what that other system did, so we're going to counter-revolutionize it, and we are counter-revolutionaries. Okay, I think that was it for that. So the words that were in this episode were, not are, they're not coming, they already happened. Counterpart, counterparty, counterplan, counterplea, counterplot, counterpoint, counterpoise, counterpose, counterproductive, counterprogramming, counterproposal, counterpunch, counterreformation, and counterrevolution. It's really fun going through this book in order. I just like it. I hope you enjoy too, and I need to pick a word. I think just because I liked my silly idea, I think I'm going to pick counterparty as the word of the episode. Hey everybody, come to my house. We're gonna have a counterparty. Next door they're having a party and it's really loud. I want to have a nice quiet night, just sitting quietly, not talking. It's a counterparty. All right, there are no holidays to read because we did it for a whole year, so it's probably all the same stuff. And let's see, just real quick, last night I watched The Voyage of the Rock Aliens. I don't know, I should probably see what it's rated, because I don't know if it's exactly for kids. But, what is it rated? Oh, PG. PG. I don't even know what I want to rate this. Did I like it? Did I hate it? Did I like it because I hated it? I don't even know. They talked about it on How Did This Get Made, so I was motivated to watch it. Okay, that's a good place to end. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hi, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. We have made it to the top of page 286. Yes, we have. Hello, people out there. How are you doing? How are you doing? I'm just killing time for no reason in particular. Okay, so the first word in this episode is counter shading. Again, we have many counter words that are all one word. Counter shading. Noun from 1896, cryptic coloration of an animal with parts normally in shadow being light and parts normally illuminated being dark, thereby reducing shadows and contours. I feel like I need to look more into this and possibly post a picture of this. So, wait a minute. Would a tiger have counter shading where there's light and dark spots? Cryptic coloration of an animal with parts normally... How does it know that some parts are normally in shadow, so they make those light, and then some parts are normally illuminated and make those dark? So that it looks like it's all equal? Is that what is happening here? I don't know. All right, so the sound effect I posted on social media yesterday. You haven't even heard it yet. You have no idea. That didn't make any sense. I just asked, hey, do you have any suggestions on a sound effect for me? Because I can't think of any. And a couple people mentioned this one. If you know, you know. It's a little bit more on the adult side, but if you don't know that, then you won't know. I didn't need to even say anything. I could have just said it. Oh well, whatever. Anyway, the sound effect is shwing. It's the sound a sword makes when you pull it out of its sheath. So the next word is countersign. SIGN. Noun from 1591. 1. A signature attesting the authenticity of a document already signed by another. So somebody signed a document, and then to attest To prove that that is authentic, somebody else signs it, I think. 2. A sign given in reply to another, specifically, a military secret signal that must be given by one wishing to pass a guard. I don't think it has to just be military, but I guess the military use it a lot. Are there lots of secret military signals that us civilians don't know about? What's the secret handshake? It's just called a countersign. Countersign is also a transitive verb and countersignature. Pronounced multiple ways, that is a noun. Shwing! Next word is countersink. And yes, this is one word. In my mind, I just think this would be a sink in a counter in your kitchen. I don't know. This is the first form. This first form is the transitive verb from 1816. By the way, the past form is countersunk. Countersunk. 1. To make a countersink on. And the thing that you would be putting this countersink on is a hole. So I'm already confused. 2. To set the head of at or below the surface. And the thing that has the head that you were doing this with would be a screw. So to set the head of a screw at or below the surface, countersinking. It's being sunk into the counter or below, I guess. And let's see, to make a countersink on a hole. Interesting. That's the number 1. All right, well, let's move on to the next word, shawing. It is the second form of countersink, noun from 1816, same year as the last one, which makes sense. I'm glad that they are the same year. If they were not the same year, I would be very confused. 1. A bit or drill for making a funnel-shaped enlargement at the outer end of a drilled hole. And then there is a picture of this countersink. There's 2 different kinds of these bits or drills, and I will try to visually describe them to you. I will maybe also post a picture if I feel like it. So let's see. Normally, a drill bit for like just putting a screwdriver in, it's very parallel. The sides of the thing are parallel. It's just a straight line with a tiny little point at the end, and then of course it's got the things along the sides of it, the threads to make it drill through. This one though, it goes straight for a while, and then at the end it flares out maybe 45 degrees, and then just for a little bit, and then it comes back to a point. Again, probably about 45 degrees. So it's got a very wide point. It's kind of the shape of a pyramid at the end of this bit. But in addition, it can't just be flush. It has to be able to dig into the wood or whatever. So it has jagged edges along this pyramid-shaped thing. I don't know. It's probably a terrible description. Then there's another version of this countersink. It has a similar shape, but instead of the jagged edges, it has like one big part that's like scooped out of it. So then the other part so it creates like a real sharp edge. I should probably post pictures of these so you can understand it. So the point of this thing is to make they call it a funnel shaped. Yeah, it's shaped like a funnel kind of. And pyramid funnel, same thing, basically. I mean, the pyramids are basically just big funnels. So you want to make a big hole, but just at the surface of it, not through the whole thing. Okay, number 2 is the enlargement made by a countersink. So you countersink a countersink into a counter, and it makes a countersink. Shwing! Next word is counterspy, noun from 1939. A spy engaged in counter-espionage. And if you want to hear about counter-espionage, you have to go back 1, 2, 3 episodes, I believe. Yes. Okay. Espionage. Shawing. Next word is counterstain. Stain. Transitive verb from 1895. To stain as a microscopy specimen, so as to color parts as the cytoplasm of cells not colored by another stain, as a nuclear stain. So without the parentheses, it says to stain so as to color parts not colored by another stain. And then, of course, it gave examples of what all those things are. Counter stain is also a noun. You counter stain with a counter stain. Shwing! Next word is counter tenor, noun from the 15th century. A tenor with an unusually high range, as an alto range. Well, if they are... Oh, I guess that means that they can... it's not that they are in the alto range. It's that they can go into the alto range. So they're still in the tenor area, but they have such a wide range that they can also go into alto. But what if they have an unusually low range, like they can go into the baritone? Would that have a different name? So this is from Middle English contratenor, which means part balancing the tenor. So they balance each other out. That's pretty much all it is. Yeah. The three countertenors. Shawing. Bada 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 shawing. Next word is countertop, noun from 1897. The flat working surface on top of waist-level kitchen cabinets. I made some hot chocolate before I recorded because I'm an adult and it's winter and it's well below freezing outside. It's not terribly cold here, but I made some and I'm going to have a sip of it right now. And I have vegan Dandy's marshmallows in it that I shall eat later. So, next, did I say the shawing? The shawing. Shawing. Next is counter trade, noun from 1976. A form of international trade in which purchases made by an importing nation are linked to offsetting purchases made by the exporting nation. Exports and stuff like that. Form of international trade in which purchases made by an importing nation are linked to an offsetting. So importing and exporting, they're counterbalanced. Yeah. Shwing! Next is counter-transference. Transference. Noun from 1920. 1. Psychological transference, especially by a psychotherapist during the course of treatment, especially the psychotherapist's reactions to the patient's transference. I have heard of transference in this context, but I'm not entirely sure. Is that when you're like transferring your feelings onto something else? I'm not sure. But this is counter-transference. So psychological expert, sometimes I have to reread these to fully get what's going on. But it's especially the therapist's reactions to the patient's transference. That's why it's counter, I guess. 2, the complex of feelings of a psychotherapist toward the patient. So the psychotherapist is transferring their feelings onto the patient, toward the patient. So there's transference going on both sides. That's why it's counter-transference. Again. Shawing. Next word is countervail, V-A-I-L, verb from the 14th century, starting with transitive. 1, to compensate for. 2 is archaic. I feel like that first one might have been archaic too. To compensate for, countervail. Well, maybe the etymology will help us out. Number 2 is archaic. The synonyms are equal and match. 3, to exert force against, and the synonym is counteract. And then 1 intransitive definition, to exert force against an opposing and often bad or harmful force or influence. So the etymology, from Anglo-French, contra, which means counter, that's the whole opposite thing, which we've been reading for the last 4 or 5 episodes. And then also valoir, which means to be worth. V-A-L-O-I-R, to be worth. So is it the opposite of something that to be worth? Also from Latin, valere, and there's more at the word wield. Wield, like you're wielding a sword. A sword that goes shwing. Okay, that's good enough for that. Shwing. Next word is counter view. Noun from 1590. One is archaic. The synonym is confrontation. Counter view, confrontation. And number 2, an opposite point of view. Well, you've got your point of view on that subject, but I would like to tell you my counter view on that, if I could please do that. Shawing! Next word is counterweight. Noun from 1693. An equivalent weight or force. And that's the end of that. The synonym is counterbalance. And didn't we have one in the last episode that the synonym was also counterbalance? Yes, counterpoise. Counterbalance, counterpoise, counterweight. Counterweight is also a transitive verb. Shwing! Next is, no more counter words. We now have countess. Count, ESS. Noun from the 12th century. 1. The wife or widow of an earl or count. I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, I guess if the earl or count dies, then they're a widow, but do you have to say widow? Can't you just say wife? I guess if you want to specify, would some people think that when the earl or count died, then they're not a countess anymore? But you have to be specific to say, yes, they do stay a countess when the earl or count dies. Just like an earl or count stays an earl or count when the wife dies. Why isn't there a female version of the word earl? Is there? A count and countess, why is it earl and countess? Should be earless? Or maybe we don't need the genderized words. Number 2, a woman who holds in her own right, the rank of earl or count, but they're still called a countess. Why can't they be called an earl or a count? I still don't understand this. Okay. Shawing. Next word is countian. Count with an I-A-N. Noun from the 15th century. A native or resident of a usually specified county. That county, it's specified usually. And our last word, shawing. Shawing, shawing. It is counting house. All one word, it's the house where they do the counting. Noun from the 15th century. A building, room, or office used for keeping books and transacting business. It's like a bank. Okay, so the words in this episode were counter shading, counter sign, counter sync, counter sync, counter spy, counter stain, counter tenor, counter top, counter trade, counter transference, counter veil, counter view, counterweight, countess, countian, and counting house. It's very difficult to pick one. I did like the counter shading. I think camouflage is fascinating. Let's see. Was there anything else that I liked better than that? Countertenor, the singing, that was kind of interesting. Didn't know that existed. Countertops, I mean, you can't do much without countertops, can you? Countertransference, that was a fascinating one. Yeah, I think I'm just going to pick counter shading as the word of the episode. And maybe on the social media in like a couple of weeks, I will post a picture of that there to see what it looks like. I'm a tiger. I have counter shading because I need to camouflage. I think that's fine. All right. We're just going to end it. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of The Dictionary, the podcast where I read the dictionary and then I tell you my thoughts about it as I go. Okay, so I was not paying attention to my little Post-it notes here to see what date episodes are falling on. Yesterday's episode was It'll air on St. Patrick's Day, which also happens to be my wife's and mine. That's, how do you say those words? My wife and I'll just say our 12th first date anniversary. We had our first date accidentally on St. Patrick's Day. It was just a coincidence that it happened to be that day. I probably have said this before. Anyway, it was 12 years ago. Happy anniversary. Okay, so I should have done an Irish themed sound effect in yesterday's episode, but I didn't. So I'm going to do one today, and then you can just pretend that this episode aired yesterday. Okay. What is an Irish themed sound effect, you may ask? I don't know. I actually went to a website to just Irish sound effects. There was a bunch of leprechaun saying things like or hee hee hee, things like that. Hello. We're not doing that. Okay, the first word in this episode is counting number. 2 words. You got to count them numbers. Noun from circa 1965, and the synonym is natural number. The numbers that occur naturally in nature, not the ones that are made in a lab. Okay, the sound effect is slancha. That is, what is it? Irish, Scottish, possibly Gaelic. Irish and Gaelic are kind of probably the same thing. They pretty much are. That is the word for health in their language. And that's what they use to say cheers. A lot of other languages use their word for health. In English, we say cheers for some reason. So slancha is Irish and Scottish for health. When you're having a drink, you can say it whenever you want, really. You say hi, you say goodbye. I'm just making up my own rules. Slancha. Oh, and it is spelled Slainte. Is that? Yes, Slainte. And there's an accent on the A, down on the left, up on the right. I wonder if that's in this book. Probably not. There's a word, titaniferous. And tintinnabulary? Oh, we're going to have some fun when we get there. Okay, so next word is counting room. 2 words, noun from 1712. I was going to say, it's probably similar to a counting house. And yes, the synonym is literally just counting house. So, because it can be a room. In the counting house definition, it said it could be a room, a building, or a room, or an office. Slancha. I can't do it in an Irish accent. I'm sorry. Next word is countless. Adjective from 1588. Too numerous to be counted. And the synonyms are myriad and many. Countlessly is an adverb. I'm sorry, there are just too many words in this book to be counted. So this book has countless words. Countless. Is that an odd word? Countless. You can't count it. There is no possible way. That's why it's countless. Okay. Slancha. Oh, maybe I should have a drink after I say it. It's a non-alcoholic hot chocolate still. Slancha. Next word, count noun. 2 words, noun. Good. I'm glad it's a noun. From 1952. A noun that forms a plural and is used with a numeral with words such as many or few, or with the indefinite article a or an. Okay, there was a few things going on here. It gives an example of the noun bean or sheet. A noun as bean or sheet that forms a plural and is used with a numeral. I am still confused about this. How do you use a numeral with beans or sheets? Also with words such as many or few. So many beans, many sheets, few sheets, or with the indefinite article a or an. And then it says compared to mass noun. All right, somebody needs to help explain this to me because I am confused. I am just confused. Okay, I'm going to have a drink this time when I say it. Got to get ready. Slancha. Clink. All right, I didn't get much liquid because the marshmallow was in the way. Okay, next word. Count Palatine. Palatine. There's a city in Illinois that's Palatine. This is two words, noun from 1939. Maybe the mayor of Palatine should be called Count Palatine. 1a, a count of the Holy Roman Empire having imperial powers in his own domain. 1b, a high judicial official in the Holy Roman Empire. 2, the proprietor of a county palatine in England or Ireland. So is Palatine one of the counties in England or Ireland? Both, maybe? Interesting. Yeah, it's not giving me much. Maybe when we get to the P's, we'll learn more about Palatine. Slancha. Next is countrified. So you can spell it like country-fied, or instead of the Y in country, you can spell it with an I. Yes. So this is an adjective from 1653. 1, synonyms are rural and rustic. 2, synonym is unsophisticated. 3, played or sung in the manner of country music, as in country-fried, that's not it, country-fried rock. Country-fried is something else. Country-fried steak, country-fried seitan, I would like some of that. Yeah, that's what it means, all those things. Let's countrify this podcast. No, let's not do that. Slancha. Next word is country. First form, noun from the 13th century. 1, an indefinite, usually extended expanse of land. And the synonym is region, as in miles of open country. 2a, the land of a person's birth, residence, or citizenship. What is your country of origin? 1b, a political state or nation or its territory. 3a, the people of a state or district. Synonym is populace. I think so because with the internet, everything is international now. We are coming together as one human race of people, world community. Podcasts and things like that, they can be seen and heard. Well, podcasts aren't seen unless they're on YouTube. There's a visual component, but it can all be out there in the world. And so anybody can be consuming this in the way that they want. And mostly because I'm American English, I mostly have American listeners, all 40 people. But if you are from another country and you are listening to this regularly, I would genuinely like to know who you are and what country you're in. So, send me an email, a message, a way, any way you can figure it out. Let's shout out our countries. I am in the semi-United States of America. Okay, back to country. 3b, the synonym is jury. 3c, it is the number 2 definition for the word electorate. 4, rural as distinguished from urban areas, as in prefers the country to the city. I think eventually I will probably move to a more countrified area. 5, the synonym is country music. Country-ish is an adjective. It's a kind of like a country. Okay, etymology. Let's see. This is from Latin. Whoa, interesting. There's Middle English, Anglo-French, Middle Latin, nothing terribly interesting. I mean, to me, maybe to you it is, but I'm going to mispronounce them anyway, so I'm not going to bother. But It is from the Latin word contra, which we talked about before. That means against or on the opposite side. Why does this word mean that? Why does it come from that? I would like to know. Is it as simple as I live in my country, your country over there is the opposite of mine, it's against mine, so that's your country? Is that where this stems from? I am so curious now. Interesting. And so country music, you could argue it's the opposite of music. One could say that. Slancha. Second form of country is an adjective from the 14th century. One, of, relating to, or characteristic of the country. 2a. All right, there's a lot of stuff. Okay. Of or relating to a decorative style associated with life in the country. So stereotypically, we would talk about maybe boots and an animal's head on the wall and wood, lots of wood and leather maybe, and I guess we can throw guns in there, and what else? Hats, different kinds of hats, probably. What else? What else is stereotypically country? As in the example, an English country look. But, I think it expands. I'm being very stereotypical in terms of like a cowboy kind of thing. But, the English country look, there you can imagine your own thing. I can't think of it. We have more to the definition. Also, possessing a style of rustic simplicity, as in country furniture. I kind of like that. Cabins are great. Just feel like you're out in nature, living inside of nature, out in nature. Okay, 2b, prepared or processed with farm supplies and procedures, as in country ham. 3, of, relating to, suitable for, or featuring country music, as in country singers. Let's sing that country music. Speaking of, slancha. I think it's kind of funny that I've got an Irish word, but we're talking about the country. Country and Western is next. 3 words. Noun from 1960. The synonym is just country music. But usually it is hyphenated in attributive use. Country and Western, I guess. Slancha. Next word is country club. 2 words with a hyphen. Adjective from 1894. 1. Typical, characteristic, or suggestive of a country club, as in a country club atmosphere. Also as in a country club prison. I think that would be one that is minimum security, and they probably have it pretty good. The prison in A Handmaid's Tale, when those 2 people, I won't say who, I don't want to spoil anything, when they go to prison, they're kind of in a country club prison. 2, having qualities as affluence associated with the members of a country club, as in a country club conservative. Slancha. Next is country club, 2 words, no hyphen, noun from 1867. A suburban club for social life and recreation, especially one having a golf course. If you have not seen the movie Caddyshack, you got to go see that. They've got a country club there on the property. There are country clubs around here, around the Chicago area, and I'm just not a big fan of places that are, exclusive in that way, and, in various ways. I'm not a big fan of that. There's a place, there's no golf course attached to it, but it's sort of country, it has this country club vibe that we walk past sometimes on our walks, and you can't go in, you can't eat at their restaurant unless you're a member of their club. And I would very much like to go eat at their restaurant, but I can't. and I'm not going to become a member. And I think you could do like a day thing, but you got to pay a lot of money, and I was like, I'm not going to do that. It's not worth it for me. Nope. I'm not doing that lifestyle. Sorry. Slancha. Next is country dance. 2 words with a hyphen. Noun from 1579. Any of various native English dances in which partners face each other, especially in rows. Swing your partner round and round and round. Can we combine that song with the other one? Swing your partner round and round and... How does that song go? You spin me right round, baby, right round. Hey, we're having a country dance. Slancha. Next is country gentleman. 2 words, noun from 1632. 1. A well-to-do country resident. An owner of a country estate. 2. One of the English landed gentry. English landed gentry. Yep, that's country gentleman. Slancha. Country house is next. 2 words, noun from the 14th century. A house, and especially a mansion in the country. We're all so jealous of your country house. Slancha. Next is countryman. 1 word. It could also just be pronounced countryman. Noun from the 14th century. 1. An inhabitant or native of a specified country. 2. The synonym is compatriot. 3. One living in the country or marked by country ways. And the synonym is rustic. Slancha. Should I have another drink? Let's do that. Slancha. Very good. Next is country mile. 2 words. Noun from 1950. It's just a long distance. I'm very curious to know who was the first person to say it's a country mile. It's as far as a country mile. Is there a specific length? Nope. It's just far. Far away. Next, slancha. It's country music. 2 words, noun from 1952. Music derived from or imitating the folk style of the southern U.S. or of the western cowboy. Country music has evolved a lot over the last probably 100+ years. Some of it's good, some of it's maybe not as good. Depends on who you are. I believe my friend Jonah has a few country-ish songs. So maybe if he gives me permission, I will put a clip of one of them in here. Even if he does give me permission, maybe I will have forgotten to ask him, but I'm listening to this recording, so that will remind me. So Jonah, can I put in a clip? Take a walk by the water deep. Gain your own relief. Okay, maybe it happened. Maybe it didn't. Probably did, though. Slancha. Next word is country rock. Noun from 1968. Rock music containing elements of country music. See, this is what happened. Country music was very country and down home, and then rock came into it, and then I think pop came into it, and I think we're now seeing hip hop coming into it. We got country hip hop. It's been a very fascinating journey. All right, let's see. I think we've got just one more for this episode. Yes, slancha. It is country seat, S-E-A-T, 1 word, noun from 1583, a house or estate in the country. So the words in this episode were counting number, counting room, countless, count noun, count palatine, countrified, country and western, country club, country dance, country gentleman, country house, country man, country mile, country music, country rock, and country seat. Let's see. What, I don't know. I mean, country is a very good, all-encompassing word. It would be nice to just go have a house out in the country with no neighbors. Let's see. Yeah, not that one. Country music, country rock, those are fine. Countless, that's a good one. Countless things. I'll just pick. Count noun was also very confusing. I'll pick country as the word of the episode. I don't know. We all come from a country. That's all I got for that. But maybe we are working to get rid of those borders or something. I don't know. Country, you come from a country. I'm in a country and you're in a country and all together we are on the planet Earth. Okay. So that is it for that. I talked a lot and I didn't even read any holidays and it's a very long episode. So I think we can just end it there. Yes? Okay, fine. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. All right. I just had some water. It's sticking in my throat. Okay, so the first word in this episode. Hello, how you doing, everybody? Let's do it. It is countryside. COUNTRYSIDE. Noun from 1727. 1 is a rural area. It's the opposite of an urban area. 2, the inhabitants of a countryside. Wait, you can call the inhabitants the countryside? Interesting. The sound effect today is going to be whoop. Whoop. Next word is countrywide. The countryside is so countrywide. One word, adjective from 1915, and it means extending throughout a country. All throughout a country. But if it's a very small country, then it is a very small countrywide. Or maybe it's a very big country, like Russia. Is that Canada? Australia? Those are very large countries. India, America, China. They have very, very large countrywides. Whoop! Next word is countrywoman. One word, noun from 1715. I am trying to be slower. I know that I've said this before, I often talk very quickly. I'm trying to take it slow and chill, sort of. Not too slow, just in the middle. Okay, 1 for countrywoman, a woman who is a compatriot. 2, a woman who is a resident of the country. She can look out her window and see the countryside. Whoop, boop. Next word, we finished with the country words. Now we are on the county words. We just took out the R near the end. County, first form, noun from the 14th century. 1, the domain of a count. We talked about the count in the last episode, I think. Or no, maybe it was a couple episodes ago. The count and the countess. And their domain is the county. That's why we call counties counties, because the count used to watch over a county. Haha. 2A, one of the territorial divisions of England and Wales, and formerly also of Scotland and Northern Ireland, constituting the chief units for administrative, judicial, and political purposes. Yeah, those countries, they're all made up of counties. The United States are made up of states, and each state is made up of counties. 2B, 1, the people of a county. Maybe the count is part of that people of a county. To be to is British, and it means the gentry of a county. What is the gentry? We will find out many, many months from now. Many years from now, actually. 3. The largest territorial division for local government within a state of the U.S. The largest territorial division for local government. Local government. Well, let's see. What is it? The largest so the city would be local government. The county would be probably the next level up. So that's the largest division for local government. And then I guess if you get to the state level, that's not considered local government anymore. That's considered state government. I think. Does that make sense? Number 4, the largest local administrative unit in various countries. And then county is also an adjective. Whoop! Now we have the second form of county. This is also a noun from 1550. It is archaic, and it is just the third form of the word count, which, that was how many episodes ago? Many episodes ago. We got to go all the way back to, here we go, March 12th, it looks like, that episode that aired on March 12th. And that is just the third form of count is a European nobleman whose rank corresponds to that of a British earl. So this word county, it's just another name for count. So the count was also called a county whose domain was a county. Whoop! Next word is county agent. 2 words. County agent man. Noun from 1705. A consultant employed jointly by federal and state governments to provide information about agriculture, and home economics. Whoop! 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 Next word is county court. 2 words. Noun from 1639. A court in some states that has a designated jurisdiction, usually both civil and criminal, within the limits of a county. Whoop! Next word is county fair. 2 words. It's the most fun place in the world. Noun from 1856. A fair usually held annually at a set location in a county, especially to exhibit local agricultural products and livestock. So maybe back in the 1856 times, it was a lot of agricultural products and livestock, which sounds like a blast to me. But eventually they probably, I think that's when they added games and rides and musicians who don't really have much of a career anymore, and lots of fried foods. That is what we know as a county fair today. Whoop. Next word is county palatine. 2 words. Palatine is Palatine. Noun from the 15th century. It is the territory of a Count Palatine. What is that? Oh, I thought that I remembered reading the Count Palatine or something with a Palatine before, but I was like, well, maybe I didn't. Maybe this is the first time. All right, so I'm trying to find it. Was it over here? Was it over there? Was it all up in that place? Here we go. Let's remind ourselves. This was just yesterday's episode, but it's been like a week since I recorded it. So the Count Palatine is a count of the Holy Roman Empire having the imperial powers of his own domain. It's all about the Holy Roman Empire. So the County Palatine is the territory of that person. See, it all connects now. Woo whoop. Next word is county seat. 2 words. Noun from 1803. A town that is the seat of county administration. Maybe that is where they have the county fair. Whoop, whoop. Next is county town. 2 words. Noun from 1670. It is chiefly British, and it's just the synonym county seat, which is a town that is the seat of county administration. Whoop! Next word is cope. That's how it's pronounced, cope. It is spelled C-O-U-P. You might think it is pronounced coo, but no, that is our second form of this word. So the first form is pronounced cope. Verb. From circa 1572, it is chiefly Scottish, and the synonyms are overturn and upset. Maybe there's an important game happening, and the underdogs have overturned it. They win the game, and so it was a cope. This is from Middle English, and it means to strike. That's pretty much it. Whoop! Whoop! Second form of this word spelled C-O-U-P, but this one is pronounced coo. Noun from 1791. 1. A brilliant, sudden, and usually highly successful stroke or act. A brilliant, sudden, and usually highly successful stroke or act. A stroke of what? Brilliance? An act of something? What happened? I don't know. It's a coup. And then number 2, the synonym is coup d'etat, which we are going to get to later this episode. By the way, starting with this word coup, we have lots of French words, so I'm going to really have to practice my French pronunciation. You're going to hear all of it live, sort of, unedited. That's what you're going to hear. Coup d'etat, call it just a coup. You'll learn about that soon. Whoop. Next word is coup de grace. Coup de grace. It is 3 words, C-O-U-P, second word, D-E, third word, G-R-A-C-E. Looks like grace, it's pronounced grace. And you can have an accent on the A in grace, which is either the little caret or no accent altogether. It's up to you. So, this is a noun from 1699. 1. A death blow or death shot administered to end the suffering of one mortally... Man, these words that are similar to that, my mouth does not want to say them. To end the suffering of one mortally wounded. 2. A decisive finishing blow, act, or event. So, this is, of course, French, and it literally means stroke of mercy. If a horse is very badly wounded, or some other animal is very badly wounded, it sometimes doesn't make any sense to try and heal it and fix it for whatever reason. I don't know the details. So, they do one of these coup de graces. Coup de, where's the plural pronunciation? I just saw it. Coup de, I don't know. Anyway, they do one of these things to end it, to make him dead, because it is the humane thing to do. It's mercy. They're giving them some grace. That's why that word is in there. That's the English form. Coup de grace. Stroke of mercy. So coup must mean stroke or something like that, like a thing, an act, Okay, whoop. Next French phrase is coup de main. Coup de main. Coup de, or de, and then M-A-I-N. In English, it looks like main, but it is pronounced more like main. Main. You don't really say the N too much. Noun from 1758. It is a sudden attack in force. A very forceful, sudden attack. And this literally means hand stroke? Hand stroke. I wonder why. Like a stroke from the hand. Whoop. 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 Next word. Here's coup d'etat. Coup d'etat. So, let's see. It looks like you could spell... Oh, I see the difference. So, it is coup, but the de is not its own word anymore. It is combined with état because état starts with a vowel and de ends in a vowel. So they combine them in French. So it is D''E''T''A'. and you can put an accent on that E or not, but the accent would be down on the left and up on the right. So, let's see, you can pronounce it coup d'etat. Coup d'etat. Wait, no. You can emphasize the last syllable, coup d'etat, or emphasize the first syllable, coup d'etat. Noun from 1646. It is a sudden, decisive exercise of force in politics, especially the violent overthrow or alteration of an existing government by a small group. I will just rephrase that quickly if that didn't make sense for you. A government is taken over by a small group of people suddenly and violently. They have overthrown it, and that is a coup d'etat, and you can shorten it down to just coup. This is a French phrase. It literally means stroke of state. So state, like the government, or something political. So that's what that means. And maybe I will put in a little clip from the They Might Be Giants song that has this phrase in it.
Oh yeah, it's a stone cold coup d'etat.
Woo! Next word is, this is where the French pronunciation really comes in. Coup de théâtre. I think I said it very American though. Let's see. Coup de théâtre. I can't do the R thing in the back. Coup de théâtre. Ugh, it's terrible. I hate it. Okay, so it is coup. Second word, de, spelled D-E. Third word, T-H-E-A-T-R-E. And you can spell it with no accents, or you can add an accent on both the E and the A in the middle. On the E, it's down on the left and up on the right, and on the A, it's the little caret. Coup de théâtre. Noun from 1747. If I had actually taken many years of French, I could actually pronounce these words. 1. A sudden sensational turn in a play. Also, a sudden dramatic effect or turn of events. And then 2, a theatrical success. This phrase literally means stroke of theater. So we read the two definitions in one form. It's a theater that had a stroke of success, very successful. And then the other one is a stroke of something sensational, suddenly in theater. So they're similar, but different. You really need the context to understand what you're talking about when you say coup de théâtre. Whoop! Next word is couder, or coudei, or coudoyer. So many ways. I mean, the easiest way for me is just to say couder. It is spelled coup, again, then D apostrophe O-E-I-L. Coudei, coudoyer. Or no, it'd be coudeye. Something like that. It is a noun from 1739, and it just means a brief survey. Also the synonym glance. And this literally means stroke of the eye. So, just look at something quickly. You just glanced over at a thing. It's a little a coup d'œil. Okay, we are on the last word. Woo! Woo! Whoop! It is pronounced, you could say, coupe, or just coupe. Either one. It is C-O-U-P-E, and you can either do no accent on the E or the same accent on the E that we've been seeing down on the left and up on the right. Noun from 1825. 1. A four-wheeled, closed, horse-drawn carriage for two persons, inside with an outside seat for the driver in front. It's just like a carriage. Maybe it's just a specific kind of carriage. Number 2, a two-door automobile, often seating only two persons. Also, one with a tight-spaced rear seat. and then compare to the synonym or just the word sedan, which probably has 2 seats in the back, I would think. It's a carriage thing. It's a car. It's something to move people around with probably just 2 people. A coupe or a coupe. Again, it is French. It is from the verb couper, which means to cut or strike. All right, so the words in this episode were countryside, countrywide, countrywoman, county, county, county agent, county court, county fair, county palatine, county seat, county town, cope, coup, coup de grâce, coup de main, coup d'état, coup de théâtre, coup d'air, coupe. Oh boy. I have to pick one. Let's see. We got sudden attack of force. We got the politics thing. We got the theater thing. We got this little glance of the eye. We got that thing. Death blow, decisive finishing blow, act or event. Let's see. I think I'm leaning towards the one that I had the hardest time to pronounce. So yes, let's see if you can put that in a song. Coup de théâtre. Coup de théâtre, coup de théâtre. Something happens in a play, and it is a coup de théâtre. Okay, I thought these episodes were going to get shorter, but when you talk that much, it's still pretty long. No holidays. Oh, we watched The Woman in the House in the... Wait, what? The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. That's a great show on Netflix. It's a fun, serious but fun. I highly recommend it. We also just watched Murderville with Will Arnett, a very, very silly show. I recommend that as well. Good stuff. And did we see a movie? Oh, yeah, we saw the Macbeth movie. It's good. I don't remember if I talked about it. The Shakespeare is hard, but it's good stuff. We're going to see more. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Jingle, 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 jingle. Here is the song for the Dictionary Podcast. I hope you're doing well. Of course, you still can do this. You still can contact me in some way. Email address is dictionarypod@gmail.com. You can follow me and contact me and tag me on Instagram or Twitter @dictionarypod. You can call the phone number that is in the show notes. It's a Google Voice number. You could leave a message. I'll listen to it. Maybe I'll put it in an episode. You can record your own sound effect or your own little theme song and email that to me. Please do that. That would be fun. You can also rate this show on Apple Podcasts and other places. Rate it, review it, click the stars, and write up some words. That's all you have to do. You can watch this on YouTube. All of those links are in the show notes. You could also join the Patreon if you want episodes early. There are some exclusives. I need to really get back on that exclusives thing. I'm sorry. I think that's fine. If you, I don't know. Let's just talk. Let's interact in some way. Okay. Oh, and then I've said this before. If you have strong feelings about this being family-friendly or explicit, let me know. Maybe we'll do one or the other. If you have ideas on what I should do in the future for fun things, like holidays or sound effects or anything else, let me know. Can't say I'm going to do it, but I'll think about it. All right, this is the last section on page 286. Wow, March is almost over. Not for me. I'm in February still. All right, the first word is couple. Couple. And couple, it's saying that the phrase couple of is often pronounced couplev? Couplev? I don't know what this phrase is, couple of. Okay, first form for couple, noun from the 13th century. 1A, two persons married, engaged, or otherwise romantically paired. I think that the word romantically, some people might disagree with that, but maybe there will be other definitions that are Similar, but don't have the romantically part in there. 1B, two persons paired together. 2, synonyms are pair and brace. 3, something that joins or links two things together, as 3A, two equal and opposite forces that act along parallel lines. What is this? Two equal and opposite forces that act along parallel lines. Couple? Not sure about that. I'm sure it's very obvious, but my brain is just not thinking about it. 3B, a pair of substances that in contact with an electrolyte participate in a transfer of electrons which causes an electric current to flow. I have heard of these couples in terms of electronics, but I still don't understand it. 4, an indefinite small number. An indefinite small number. It's so small, but it's indefinite. You don't have a specific number on it. Like the synonym few. It's just a few. Okay, I have a bit of a pet peeve with this. Some people say couple, and some people say few, and this is when they're talking about 2 or 3 or 4. In my brain, I don't know why. I'm sure some people are like me, and some people aren't, obviously. A couple is 2. A few is not 2. A few is at least 3, maybe 4, could possibly even be 5, but that's kind of pushing it, I think. But in my brain, couple and few are not the same thing. That's just my opinion. Everybody's different. As in the example, a couple of days ago. And coupledom. Coupledom, that is a noun. It is the kingdom of the couple. Let's see. This is from Anglo-French couple, from Latin copula, which means bond. See, a couple, they've been bonded together. That's why it's that. That is from co plus appare, and appare means to fasten. You fasten two things together, they become bonded. And there is more at the word apt, A-P-T. The sound effect today is woohoo! So yesterday's episode had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 words. Today's episode has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So different. Lots of big chunks of text in this one. Okay, woohoo! Second form of couple. It is a verb from the 13th century, starting with transitive, 1A, to connect for consideration together. 1B, to join for combined effect. It's like the Voltron combining together, the Power Rangers combining together for a bigger effect. They couple up. 2A, to fasten together. Synonym is link. 2B, to bring into such close proximity as to permit mutual influence. And the example of what you're bringing together would be 2 electric circuits. 3, to join in marriage or sexual union. Coupling up sexually or marriagely or both. And now we have intransitive definitions. 1, to unite in sexual union. 2 is the synonym join. And 3, to unite chemically. There is no etymology for that because I think it's the same as the first form. Woohoo! 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 Third form of couple. It is an adjective from 1924. And this is interesting. Okay, so we just have the synonym to, T-W-O, like the number 2. But then also we have the synonym few, F-E-W. I already talked about that. And it is says it is used with the word a, as in or however you want to say it, as in a couple drinks. It could be two, it could be a few. But guess what? We have usage information for this. So maybe it's going to talk about the whole two, few, three, four thing. Okay, the adjective use of a couple without of, of, has been called non-standard, but it is not. In both British and American English, it is standard before a word, like more or less, indicating degree, as in a couple more examples of Middle English writing, and that is a quote from Charles Barber. Its use before an ordinary plural noun is an Americanism, common in speech and in writing that is not meant to be formal or elevated, as in, the first couple chapters are pretty good. And that is a quote in a letter from E.B. White. Also as in the example, still operated a couple wagons for hire. And that is a quote from Garrison Keillor. It is most frequently used with periods of time, as in a couple weeks, and numbers, as in a couple hundred, also as in a couple dozen. Now, I know that reading that with all the examples was very confusing, so what I might do right now is just read the whole thing with no examples, just so those of you who like that better can hear it. So, the adjective use of a couple without the word of has been called non-standard, but it is not. In both British and American English, it is standard before a word, as more or less, indicating degree. Its use before an ordinary plural noun is an Americanism, common in speech and in writing, that is not meant to be formal or elevated. It is most frequently used with periods of time and numbers. And that was the usage information for the third form of couple, which means either two or few. Woohoo! Next word is couplement. Couple, M-E-N-T. Noun from 1548. It is a mint that you have to share with your partner. A couplement. This is archaic, and it is the act or result of coupling. And again, this is from Old French, coupler, which means to join, from the Latin copulare, and copula, which we read before, was, it's a bond. It's a bond. Woohoo. Next word is coupler. That's an L, yes. Coupler. Coupler? Coupler. Oh, yeah. Duh. It's a coupler. Noun from 1552. One. One that couples. What does that mean? Do they couple people up, or do they couple up with other people? Other single people? One that couples. It could be something else entirely. Number 2. A contrivance on a keyboard instrument by which keyboards or keys are connected to play together. You couple up the keyboards and the keys so you can play. Woo-hoo! Next word is couplet. We added in a T at the end. Noun from 1580. 1. 2 successive lines or verse forming a unit marked usually by rhythmic correspondence, rhyme, or the inclusion of a self-contained utterance. And the synonym is distich. I don't know this word. D-I-S-T-I-C-H. Distich. Number 2, the synonym is just couple. Shakespeare. Isn't Shakespeare filled with lots of couplets? Woohoo! Woo! 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 Next word is coupling with an I-N-G. Noun from the 14th century. 1. The act of bringing or coming together, and the synonym is pairing, not the fruit, like pairing up. Like I got 2 pairs of 4s. I got a pair of 4s. And then specifically, sexual union, coupling together. 2, a device that serves to connect the ends of adjacent parts or objects. 3, the joining of or the part of the body that joins the hindquarters to the forequarters of a quadruped. Quadruped. They got 4 legs that are going down. They're walking on 4. Us humans, we don't have this. So the joining or the part of the body that joins the hindquarters to the forequarters, so is the middle part of a quadruped like a dog called the coupling? 4, a means of electric connection of 2 electric circuits by having a part common to both. And that was coupling. And now we are on our last word. Woohoo, baby! It is coupon. C-O-U-P-O-N. It is a noun from 1822. 1, a statement of due interest to be cut from a bearer bond when payable and presented for payment. Also, the interest rate of a coupon. 2, a form surrendered in order to obtain an article. A form surrendered in order to obtain an article, service, or accommodation. So before we get to the A, B, C, D, I will just quickly redescribe this. It is, let's see, if you want an article, service, or accommodation, you have to give them this form in order to get that article, etc. As 2A, one of a series of attached tickets or certificates, often to be detached and presented as needed. 2B, a ticket or form authorizing purchases of rationed commodities. 2C, a certificate or similar evidence of a purchase redeemable in premiums. And 2D, a part of a printed advertisement to be cut off to use as an order blank or inquiry form or to obtain a discount on merchandise or services. Yeah, I think that the definition of coupon that most of us think of was that very last one where we can get a discount because everybody wants to pay less for stuff. This is from Old French. I guess it maybe is an Old French word. It's from French. It means piece, like a piece of something, a piece of pie, a piece of something. It is from couper, which means to cut. And there's more at the word cope. So cut, you're cutting it out from a thing. Cutting it, I guess that's the only thing I could think of. I mean, I know people do coupon cutting. They cut the coupons out to get the discounts. There's other kinds of coupons, but I think it's always cutting it or detaching it from a bigger thing, and then you give it to the person to get another thing. Yeah, it's a coupon. Those were all the words. They were couple, 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 couplement, coupler, couplet, coupling, and coupon. Maybe I shall pick coupon as the word of the episode. Coupon. Coupon. Pardon me. Do you have any gray coupon? There's got to be a better word than gray there. There's something. Gray coupon. I don't know. I don't know. Pardon me, do you have any gray coupon? I want to get it real cheap. Thank you and goodbye. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the Dictionary. This episode and the last two, I'm recording these all together. It's after work on Friday, February 11th, 2021. It's later in the day. And here we go. Ooh, I think it's going to be a little bit longer. The first word is, now how do you say this? Couponing? Couponing. It's coupon with an ing, but I'm not exactly sure how to say it. Couponing? Couponing. I don't know. Noun from 1954. It is the distribution or redemption of coupons. Whoo. Whoo. The next word is courage. Courage. Noun from the 14th century. Mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, fear, or difficulty. There's the lion song in Wizard of Oz. Can't think off the top of my head how it goes, but maybe there's a fun little clip that we could put in here.
Courage. What makes a king out of a slave? Courage. What makes the flag on the mast to wave? Courage.
Okay, there is synonym information for courage. Courage, mettle, mettle, spirit, resolution, and tenacity mean mental or moral strength to resist opposition, danger, or hardship. Courage implies firmness of mind and will in the face of danger or extreme difficulty, as in the courage to support unpopular causes. I like that. It does take a lot of courage to support unpopular causes. It's if you believe in it, but the majority of people don't, but you still feel strongly about it. If you come out and talk about it, then that takes courage to do because you are in the minority. And there are a lot of things that I think a lot of people believe are right, even though they might be in the majority. Not a lot of people might be talking about it. So I think we need to all find the courage to stand up to what we believe is, stand up for what we believe is right against what we believe is not right. There's a lot of stuff like that. Okay, back to the synonym information for courage. The word mettle suggests an ingrained capacity for meeting strain or difficulty with fortitude and resilience, as in a challenge that will test your mettle. Spirit also suggests a quality of temperament enabling one to hold one's own or keep up one's morale when opposed or threatened, as in her spirit was unbroken by failure. Failure, I can't even say the word. Failure is all part of it. See, I fail on speaking all the time, but I keep on persevering. My spirit was not broken by all of my failures. You learn from failure. If you are not consciously learning from failure, you might unconsciously be doing it, but you should make it conscious. Oh, I failed in this way. Maybe I can learn from that experience and be better at that thing in the future. Don't let your spirit be broken if you fail. If it's something that you like or you're interested in, keep it going. You have to start in a bad place. Anybody who starts a thing was very bad at it. The people who are good at things, they kept up with it. They practiced. They kept on going. Their spirit was not broken. All right, enough of that. Resolution stresses firm determination to achieve one's end, as in the resolution of pioneer women. They had lots and lots of resolution. Tenacity adds to resolution implications of stubborn persistence and unwillingness to admit defeat, as in held to their beliefs with great tenacity. I don't know why, it's just a good word. Whoo! Oh, etymology, did we read it? Let's see. It is from Anglo-French, courage, from cœur, Q-U-E-R, or C-O-E-R, and that means heart. And that is from Latin, cor, which means heart. There's more at the word heart. So it's all about heart. Whoo! Whoo! Next word is courageous. Adjective from the 14th century, having or characterized by courage. And the synonym is brave. as in a courageous soldier. Also as in a courageous decision. Courageously is an adverb, and courageousness is a noun. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Next word is courant or courant. Courante. Noun from 1586. 1. A dance of Italian origin marked by quick running steps. Ooh, I think I need to see this. Let's find a video on the internet of this courant dance. 2. The visual I have in my head, I'm sure, is not at all correct, but it looks funny in my head. Quick running steps. 2. Music in quick triple time or in a mixture of 3/2 and 6/4 time. So, 1, 2. Maybe we'll just put in an audio clip if we find something good. Next word is coureur de bois. Coureur de bois. First word, C-O-U-R-E-U-R. Second word, D-E. Third word, B-O-I-S. Coureur de bois. Noun from 1700. A French or métis trapper. I don't know how to say that because that looks French. M-E-T-I-S. Métis? A French or métis trapper of North America and especially of Canada. This is a Canadian-French word, and it literally means woods runner. Somebody running in the woods. Coureur de bois. They're a trapper. Ooh. Next is courgette. C-O-U-R-G-E-T-T-E. Courgette. Noun from 1931. It is chiefly British, and the synonym is zucchini. So why is it called a courgette? It is a French word, diminutive of courge, which means gourd. And a zucchini is kind of like a gourd. Is it technically a gourd? I don't know. They're probably in a similar family, though. Well, yeah, I mean, like, pumpkins are like gourds, and they're definitely related. It's also from the Latin curcurbita. Whoo! Next word is courier. Courier. It is a noun from 1579. 1. The synonym is messenger, as 1A, a member of a diplomatic service entrusted with bearing messages. You gotta trust them. You gotta maybe do some background checks on them because they might be sending some very important messages. 1B1, an espionage agent transferring secret information. 1B2, a runner of contraband. 1C, a member of the armed services whose duties include carrying mail, information, or supplies. And 2, a traveler's paid attendant, especially a tourist's guide employed by a travel agency. This is from Middle French, from Old Italian corriere, from correre, which means to run, from the Latin currere. So yeah, it's just about running around, sending messages, doing all the stuff. Courier. Ooh. We have one more word for this episode. It is course. C-O-U-R-S-E. First form, Noun from the 14th century. Many definitions. 1. The act or action of moving in a path from point to point. What is your course? We have lots of courses over our life. Number 2. The path over which something moves or extends. As, to A, the synonym is racecourse. 2B1. The direction of travel of a vehicle, as a ship or airplane, usually measured as a clockwise angle from north. Also, the projected path of travel. 1B2. A point of the compass. Is a course? Okay, I haven't heard that. 2C. The synonym is watercourse. 2D. The synonym is golf course. What is a water course? Is it the course, the way that the people swim in the water, or the boats? They have to go that way and then go that way. That would be a water course, maybe. I think golf course. We all know what a golf course is. It's a very big waste of land. 3A. Accustomed procedure or normal action, as in the law taking its course. 3B. A chosen manner of conducting oneself. Also, way of acting. As in, our wisest course is to retreat. It would be very smart if we retreated off over there. 3C1. Progression through a development or period or a series of acts or events. 3C2. The synonyms are life history and career. So the older you get, the longer your life history is. You can look back at your life and see, oh, it was a course. It all made sense. I went over there, and then I did that thing, and then that led me to this thing over there. So it's like it's a course that is being written as it goes. Some people might think it's already written. We don't know officially. We're just guessing. Number 4, an ordered process or succession. As for a number of lectures or other matter dealing with a subject. Yeah, your classes, you also call them courses. What course did you take today? Oh, I took that course on evolution. It was fascinating. And then what course did you take after that? Oh, well then I changed up things and I took a course on how to play piano. And that was a good course. Also, a series of such courses constituting a curriculum, as in a pre-med course. 4B. A series of doses or medications administered over a designated period. 5A. A part of a meal served at one time, as in the main course. There are some places, some people, there are like 5-course meals, 7-course meals. I don't know how high they go, but there's a lot. Though I think the rule is the higher number of courses, the smaller each meal is. There was that movie, Big Night, something like that. They had a big Italian multi-course meal, and it looked pretty amazing. I don't usually do like a multi-course meal. Like, if anything, there will be a main dish, which maybe I'll eat half of, and then I'll eat the rest for leftovers. Maybe we'll get some appetizers if there's like 2 or more of us. And then maybe a dessert. Not always. Maybe. It depends on the situation. But that is all I can handle. The only way I can handle anything more than like 3 courses is if I'm there for all day. Where do they fit it all in? I can't do that. But it is fun to try a lot of stuff. 5B. The synonym is layer, Layer, especially a continuous level range of brick or masonry throughout a wall. 5C. The lowest sail on a square-rigged mast. I don't know why I said mask. It's with a T. And we have a couple phrases. In due course. And this means after a normal passage of time, in the expected or allotted time, as in, his discoveries led in due course to new forms of treatment. In due time, in due course. In due course, I shall finish this podcast, but I have to go through it in order. We can't rush it. We can't skip to the end. We gotta go page by page. Another phrase, of course. Number 1, following the ordinary way or procedure, as in, will be done as a matter of course. Aha. And number 2, as might be expected, as in, of course we will go. I never really thought about where this phrase came from, of course. It means just basically like, it is the next logical thing. Of course that's going to happen, of course, because it is in the course. It is, what was that phrase? Will be done in a matter, of course. The matter of the course is that's next. Of course. Okay, so the words in this episode were couponin, courage, courageous, courant, coureur de bois, courgette, courier, and course. Well, I liked a lot about course, but I think I'm going to pick courage as the word of the episode. It's just a really good thing to have. I think that a lot of people, I mean, even myself, when I was younger, and even now, it's very easy to be afraid of things. And I don't know, it's good to just find that courage in you and just say, meh, screw it. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be afraid. It takes effort. It's hard, but I think it'll be worth it. It's always worth it. Do it. Find that courage in you. I know it's there. I know it's there. You've got it in your heart because the etymology of courage is heart. Heart, heart. All right, that is the end of this episode. I think I got it. I got it all. Yeah, we're going to end it. You have to stop talking. That's how you end it. If you keep on talking, it'll never end. So how do you end it? You stop talking. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time. Next time, there will be a next time. I'm sure of it. I hope. This has been Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to another episode of the dictionary. It is another one of many, many, many thousands of episodes, I think. Okay, so the first word in this episode is course, the second form. This is the verb form of it from the 15th century. We are going to start with transitive, and then there will be only one intransitive definition. So, transitive. Number 1, to follow close upon. To follow close upon. And the synonym is pursue. So you're following something close, pursuing it. You could also say you're coursing it. I have never heard of that, but yeah, maybe it's an older way to use it. 2a, to hunt or pursue with hounds. And the example of what you are hunting is game. 2b, to cause, to run. So that's the actual definition. And the thing that you might be causing to run are dogs, and they might be running after game. To cause dogs to run as after game. 3, to run or move swiftly through or over. And the synonym is traverse, as in jets coursed the area daily. They're just moving swiftly. Okay, now we have intransitive, to run or pass rapidly along or as if along an indicated path. Like you have to follow the path, the course. You're following the course, you're coursing. As in blood coursing through the veins. There's only one place for the blood to go, and if the blood doesn't stay on that course, there can be problems. Okay, the sound effect I'm going to do today is one that I used in the beginning of an episode a little while back, and then I changed it up partway through, and I never finished. I never did a whole episode with this sound effect, which is boing. Okay, the next word is course of study. 3 words from 1647. Number 1, the synonym is curriculum. And number 2 is the 4A definition for the word course, which, if we go back to yesterday's episode, it was a number of lectures or other matter dealing with a subject. Also, a series of such courses constituting a curriculum. What are you studying? You are taking classes to go on a course to become somebody who knows the stuff that you are studying. Boing! Next word is courser. First form, noun from the 14th century. It is a swift or spirited horse, and the synonym is charger. So this is from Anglo-French, coursier or corsaire, which is from course or cours, which means course or run. So yeah, the idea here is that the horse is running swiftly along a course, so it is a courser. And I think they use this word in the 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, that book, that poem. I think it's the coursers they flew with the something like that. Boing. Next word is the second form of courser, noun from 1600. 1, a dog for coursing. And of course, that would be back in the first word here, the first word in this episode, hunting for game. Number 2, one that courses, and the synonym is huntsman. 3, any of various old world birds noted for their speed in running. Well, what kind of birds are noted for their speed in running? Most birds are noted for their speed in flying. Well, the subfamily is Corsorinae, and they are of the family Glariolidae. And, it's not giving me any examples of specific birds, but maybe I will put a link in the show notes if you want to learn more about them. They're fast runners. Maybe the roadrunner is a courser. Boing. Next word is courseware. One word, ware is W-A-R-E. Noun from 1972, and it is educational software. So they combine software with like a class course, and it's courseware. I can't imagine this was used very long. Boing. Next word is coursing. Noun from 1538. So normally you hear an ing at the end and you think it's a verb. We had coursing, a course, verb, and then coursing is the verb, the action word it's happening right now. But this is a noun, coursing. 1, the pursuit of running game with dogs that follow by sight instead of by scent. Dogs, they're much better with scent. 2, the act of one that courses. Boing. Okay, next word is court. C-O-U-R-T. First form, noun from the 12th century. There's many definitions. 1A, the residence or establishment of a sovereign or similar dignitary. 1B, a sovereign's formal assembly of counselors and officers. 1C, the sovereign and officers and advisors who are the governing power. 1D, the family and retinue of a sovereign. 1E, a reception held by a sovereign. I feel like all 5 of those were practically the same. Very similar stuff. The king and the queen, they hold court. They have their people, the officers, the advisors, people helping them out. Maybe one day I shall have a court. 2A1, a manor house or large building surrounded by usually enclosed grounds. 1A2. The synonym is just motel. I don't know if I would call a motel a court. Although yes, if there's an area in the middle, the thing surrounded by usually enclosed grounds, there would be a court there. 2B. An open space enclosed wholly or partly by buildings or circumscribed by a single building. My building, the building I live in, has a courtyard. I'm sure we're going to see courtyard. Let's see it 2 episodes from now. But yeah, it's enclosed by three sides, so it's basically a court. 2C, a quadrangular space. That's a fun word, quadrangular. A quadrangular space walled or marked off for playing one of various games with a ball, as lawn tennis, handball, or basketball. Also, a division of such a court. Are there other games? So lawn tennis, it's tennis played on a lawn. There's also just regular tennis courts, handball courts, squash courts, racquetball courts, basketball courts. All the other ones, baseball, it's a field. Soccer, it's a field. Football, rugby, it's a field. Cricket, field. That's all the courts I can think of. 2D, a wide alley with only one opening onto a street. They call that a court? 3A, an official assembly for the transaction of judicial business. Judicial, the court of law, the jury, the judge, that's where all that's happening. Yeah, 3B, we've got more in that world. A session of such a court, as in, court is now adjourned. But nobody said that court was in session. We have to first say court is now in session, and then it happens, and then we can say court is now adjourned. 3C, a place as a chamber for the administration of justice. Justice happens there. 3D, a judge or judges in session. Also, a faculty or agency of judgment or evaluation. As in the quote, rest our case in the court of world opinion. And that is from L.H. Marks, M-A-R-K-S. Rest our case in the court of world opinion. So does that mean that they were in the court, not a regular court with judges or jury, but it's the whole world had an opinion on their thing. They rest their case. 4A, an assembly or board with legislative or administrative powers. 4B, the synonyms are parliament and legislature. And 5, conduct or attention intended to win favor or dispel hostility. And the synonym is homage. Now, would that be, or is it homage? Now, I know homage is a word, but is homage a word that's spelled the same as just pronounced differently? Conduct or attention intended to win favor or dispel hostility. We have an example. Pay court to the king. So it might be homage. That might be the synonym. Pay court to the king. You have to give him attention to win favor and not get any hostility. You don't want hostility from the king or queen. The etymology, is there anything interesting? From Latin cohort, cohors, which means enclosure or group or retinue or cohort. From co plus hort or hors, akin to hortus, which means garden. There's more at the word yard. So yeah, that all makes sense. It's an enclosed space, the yard, it all comes together. Although why the judicial court is named court, I'm not sure. That's similar to the king and the queen court. It's a place where they can they judge people. Okay, boing, going. Second form of court is a verb from 1567, starting with transitive. 1A, to seek or gain. No, to seek to gain or achieve, as in court power. 1B1, these synonyms are allure and tempt. 1B2. To act so as to invite or provoke, as in courts disaster. I don't think I will be courting any disaster. I do not want to allure or tempt disaster to come near me or anyone. 2A. To seek the affection of, especially to seek to win a pledge of marriage from. To seek to win a pledge of marriage from. This was a thing. I mean, we don't really call it courting these days, but decades ago, you would be courting somebody who you had a crush on. Because in those days, you court them, they agree to be courted, everybody wants everybody, and then they say, hey, let's get married. There was none of this dating or anything like that necessarily. It was just, they just went straight to marriage. Because then they would go to court, and then they would get married. Maybe that's where this word comes from in this context. Okay, 2B is talking about an animal. To perform actions in order to attract for mating. Similar, humans, animals, they're doing the same kind of stuff. As in, a male bird courting a female. And I have to say, there is no etymology, so maybe my guess about courting, going to a court to get married, maybe that was wrong, because we're talking about it with animals too. They don't go to a court to get married. It's just an understood thing. They mate, they make babies, maybe they stay together for a while, maybe they find another mate. Usually they find another mate. Okay, 3A, to seek to attract. I think that's the end of the definition, but then we have a long example. To seek to attract as by solicitous attention or offers of advantages. As in the example, college teams courting high school basketball stars. Yeah, it's all kind of the same stuff, alluring them, tempting them. They're like, hey, we want you to come play for us. Okay, 3B, to seek an alliance with. And now we have a couple intransitive definitions. 1, to engage in social activities leading to engagement and marriage. Well, not always, but that's often the goal for some people. Number 2 is again talking about an animal. To engage in activity leading to mating. That is largely the goal for most creatures on Earth. Let's see. Yeah, again, no etymology, so we're stuck. We're stuck with that. We have one more word for this episode. Boing. It is, let's see, we can say this a few ways. Okay, I'll just say it. It is cour bouillon. Cour bouillon, or you can say cour bouillon, or you can say cour bouillon or bouillon. It is spelled, it's two words. The first word is spelled like court, but you don't pronounce it like court. And then the second word is Bouillon. That is an L, yes. Courbillon, noun from 1723. It is a liquid made usually with water, white wine, vegetables, and seasonings, and used to poach fish. And this is a French phrase that literally means short bouillon. And short. I don't know why it's short. Nobody told me. So the words in this episode were course, course of study, courser, courseware, coursing, court, and courbillon. Let's see. Maybe I will pick course of study as the word of the episode because I think as I get older, I realize I didn't take as many courses of studies as I should have. I'm interested in lots of things, and there's like a big part of me that's like, well, maybe I should go back to school just to learn all the stuff. There's so much stuff to learn, and I'm fascinated by so much of it. I probably won't, but course of study. What was my course of study? I studied lots of things, but not enough things. I didn't go on lots of courses. All right. Fail. Maybe I should have been rating these songs a pass or fail. Most of them are fails, probably 75%. Hey, that's it. That's the end of the episode. What do you know? Go share this. Go start from the beginning if you're a newbie, and share it, subscribe, all those things. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Bye-bye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. I hope you're enjoying this journey as much as I am, although I don't think anybody is having as much fun as I am. If you are, let me know. Okay, the first word in this episode is courteous. Courteous, or courteous. Courteous, adjective from the 13th century. 1. Marked by polished manners, gallantry, or ceremonial usage of a court. I guess you could also say gallantry, although I don't think people say that. Number 2, marked by respect for and consideration of others. A synonym is the word civil. Courteously is an adverb, and courteousness is a noun. I think it is very good to be courteous. No matter who you are, what you do, you should be civil to people around you. I mean, if they're not being courteous back to you, then, you should try to be courteous back, but if they keep on pushing, then maybe you need to bump it up a notch and not be quite so courteous. But let's all start by being courteous. Oh, the sound effect. I don't remember if I did this before. Doesn't matter. We're just going to do a little raspberry. Because I'm an adult. Next word is courtesan or courtesan or courtesan. A few ways to pronounce those syllables. And then the British say courtesan. They emphasize the last syllable. It is a noun from 1533. It's almost all etymology here. It is a prostitute with a courtly, wealthy, or upper-class clientele. It's just a fancy prostitute? Is that what they're saying? One who works with the real rich people? Interesting. It is from Middle French, courtesan. It is from the Northern Italian dialect, which is a form of the Italian word cortigiana, which means woman courtier. Are we going to see courtier? That's in this episode? That is a feminine of cortigiano, which is courtier, from court, which means court. Yeah, not a lot of information. Basically, woman courtier is a courtesan. Next word is courtesy. First form, noun from the 13th century. The British say courtesy. 1A, it's just courteous behavior. You have courtesy, you're being courteous. Your behavior is courteous. 1B, a courteous act or expression. 2A, general allowance despite facts. And the synonym is indulgence, as in hills called mountains by courtesy only. Hills called mountains by courtesy. So there's no facts to say that hills are mountains. You're indulging in the fact that they want to be mountains, but they're not. Okay, I think that's kind of where we're going with that. 2B, sometimes these definitions, while accurate, are confusing. 2B, consideration, cooperation, and generosity in providing something as a gift or privilege. Also, the synonyms agency and means. And this is used chiefly in the phrases through the courtesy of, or the phrase by courtesy of, or sometimes simply the phrase courtesy of. So is that consideration, cooperation, generosity in providing something? Yeah. So this thing was given by this group, courtesy of this group. And it got simplified from through the courtesy of or by courtesy of all the way down to courtesy of. I think you see that in This podcast is brought to you courtesy of blank. In this case, it's just me. Courtesy of me. You're welcome. Next word is the second form of courtesy, adjective from 1613, granted, provided, or performed as a courtesy or by way of courtesy, as in, made a courtesy call on the ambassador. By the way, I should clarify the last thing I said in the previous word. This podcast is brought to you courtesy of me and also the people who made this dictionary, because I would have nothing. Or I'd just get a different dictionary. But then it would be brought to you courtesy of them, too. Okay, next word. It is courtesy card. 2 words. Noun from 1934. A card entitling its holder to some special privilege. What might this special privilege be? It's a card that you're given that it probably says on the card what your special privilege is. It's like a coupon. Next word is courtesy title. 2 words. Noun from 1865. 1. A title used in addressing certain lineal relatives of British peers. And the example of this title could be Lord, which is added to the Christian name of a peer's younger son. Number 2, a title taken by the user and commonly accepted without consideration of official right. Like the example, professor, used for any teacher. So a teacher could be called professor even though they're not officially a professor. It's just commonly accepted. Next word is courthouse. 1 word, noun from the 15th century. 1a, a building in which courts of law are regularly held. It'd be great if they were irregularly held. 1b, the principal building in which county offices are housed. And number 2, the synonym is county seat. And where did we have that? I think it was county town. Was that another one? Oh, I lost it. Somewhere over here. Here it is. County seat. Oh, that's country seat. Country seat? Did I read this thing wrong? Where was it? County seat, yes. County seat, county town, same thing. Next word. It is courtier. You could say courtier, courtier, or courtier. It is a noun from the 14th century. 1, one in attendance at a royal court. 2, one who practices flattery. So that's probably the one who is trying to court somebody to mate with them or get married to them. So they're courtiers. Next word is courtly. First form, adjective from the 15th century. 1a, of a quality befitting the court. And the synonym is elegant. Ooh, it's so elegant. It's so nice and courtly. 1b, insincerely flattering. Insincerely. So that would be a courtier is practicing flattery, but if they're insincere about it, then it's courtly. You don't want to be insincere. You got to be sincere. 2, favoring the policy or party of the court. Courtliness is a noun. Second form of courtly, adverb from circa 1592, in a courtly manner. And the synonym is politely. I like being polite. Okay, we have another one. So I don't know why I said that. We have a lot of more words. Next word. I think my microphone is going to be covered in spit by the end of this. Good thing I'm the only one who uses it. Okay, next is courtly love. 2 words, noun from 1702. A late medieval conventionalized code prescribing conduct and emotions of ladies and their lovers. a late medieval conventionalized code prescribing conduct. So this code from the late medieval time, it describes the conduct and the emotions of ladies and their lovers. Courtly love. Interesting. If we can find a list of what this code says, that would be interesting. Okay, next word. It is court-martial, 2 words with a hyphen. This is the first form. You could say court-martial or court-martial. Emphasize the first or the second. Noun from 1651. 1. A court consisting of commissioned officers and, in some instances, enlisted personnel for the trial of members of the armed forces or others within its jurisdiction. 2. A trial by court-martial. And that leads us to second form of court-martial. Same 2 words with a hyphen. Transitive verb from 1833. And it is to subject to trial by court-martial. So the second definition for the first form of court-martial was a trial by court-martial, and this one for the second form is to subject to trial by court-martial, because it is a verb. Next word. It is Court of Appeals. The C and the A are often capitalized. It's from 1768, and it is a court hearing appeals from the decisions of lower courts. And it is called also just Court of Appeal. So, Court of Appeals or Court of Appeal. If you didn't like the way that your trial went, maybe you got to go to the Court of Appeals and appeal it. Next word. Court of Claims. 3 words. We're going to see a lot of these court of into the next episode. Wow, yeah, it goes on for a little while. Not terribly long. Okay, Court of Claims, 1691. A court that has jurisdiction over claims as against a government. We've got one more in this episode. Court of Common Pleas. So it's 4 words, Court of Common Pleas, and pleas is the plural of plea, P-L-E-A-S. 1606, 1. A former English superior court having civil jurisdiction. And 2. An intermediate court in some American states that usually has civil and criminal jurisdiction. Okay, I shall quickly reread the words. We had courteous, courtesan, courtesy, courtesy, courtesy card, courtesy title, courthouse, courtier, courtly, courtly, courtly love, court-martial, court-martial, court of appeals, court of claims, court of common pleas. I am going to pick our first word, courteous, as the word of the episode because I think it's really good to be courteous. You should be courteous when you're talking with people. I like to hold doors for people, but I know people don't always like it. But I think it's good to be courteous. Courteous, 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 courteous. I don't know. That's all I got. It's definitely getting worse. I need more people. I need guest hosts, guests to have fun with this. Courteous, be courteous. I don't know. I can't think of all the words that I want to say about it. Yeah, just be nice. That's all. That's all I'm here for. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to The Dictionary. This is the podcast where I read everything in the world. If you could share this podcast, subscribe to it, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at dictionarypod, email at dictionarypod. What is it? dictionarypod@gmail.com. There's a Google Voice number. You can call it and leave a message. I would love to hear your voice. Ooh. rate it and review it. Go watch it on YouTube. Do all of those things. Okay, last section of page 287. First for this episode is Court of Domestic Relations. 4 words. 1926. It is a court that has jurisdiction and often special advisory powers over family disputes involving the rights and duties of husband, wife, parent, or child, especially in matters affecting the support, custody, and welfare of children. Okay, this sound effect for this episode is going to be, oh yes, it's sort of a ribbit thing. I don't know. We're not going to do the typical ribbit. We're going to do like a, I don't know. It'll evolve throughout the episode. The next word is Court of Honor. Honor. Of course, it's 3 words from 1593. It is a tribunal, as a military court, for investigating questions of personal honor. I feel like this is not something that we would invent these days or is still going on these days. A tribunal for investigating questions of personal honor. I think they used to take personal honor, just honor in general, much more seriously back in the day than they do now. I think maybe we need to bring this back. That would be interesting. Ribbit. Next is Court of Inquiry. 1757. A military court that inquires into and reports on some military matter as an officer's questionable conduct. Did the officer perform some questionable conduct? And they're going to they're going to inquire about it, and then maybe they will take them to the Court of Honor. Next word is Court of Law. 3 words from the 14th century. A court that hears cases and decides them on the basis of statutes or the common law. This is just the very wide, generic term of just dealing with stuff that we decide to be legal or not legal, and all the gray area in between. It's a big thing. It's all we make up the laws. We say what is legal or not. Some people agree or disagree with the laws. That's why there's a jury. I don't know. It's complicated. Ribbit. What that was, I don't know. Next is Court of Record. From the 15th century, a court whose acts and proceedings are kept on permanent record. Permanent. Can't get rid of it. All right. Trying to evolve this frog sound a little bit. Whoop. What? That's like some sort of ape. Whoop. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to just do a ribbit. I hope you kids are enjoying this nonsense. Where were we? Court of St. James. It's actually St. James's because there is an apostrophe S at the end. So the C, the S, the J, those are all capitalized. And yeah, James, James apostrophe S. So you can say St. James or St. James's or just Saint James. That would be the more French way to say it, I think. Or Saint something. It is from 1797, and it is the British Royal Court. But why is it St. James? It's from St. James's Palace, London, which is the former seat of the British Court. Next is Court of Sessions, 1843, any of various state criminal courts of record. Sorry, I don't have a lot to say about a lot of these because I'm not familiar with them, and they're all very kind of generic. I don't know. I'm also really unimpressed with this sound effect. Gotta change it up. Next is court order, 2 words, noun from 1650. An order issuing from a competent court that requires a party to do or abstain from doing a specified act. So, I mean, as far as I know, if there's somebody is doing something in court, and then the judge can say, we need some order in the court. We need a court order. Please stop doing that thing. Although this seems like it's a much more official thing. It's an order. It's not saying order in the court. It's like maybe it's a form. I don't know. An order issuing from a competent court. The court has to be competent. That requires a party to do or abstain. So it's like, hey, you gotta do this thing, or you gotta stop doing this other thing, depending on the context. It's a court order. And yeah, it's not necessarily like somebody's being all noisy where you say order in the court, but I think they are definitely related. Okay. Ribbit. Next is court plaster. 2 words. Noun from 1772. An adhesive plaster, especially of silk, coated with isinglass and glycerin. And this is from its use for beauty spots by ladies at royal courts. Okay, let's back up a second. It is an adhesive plaster that the ladies at royal courts would put on their beauty spots for its use for beauty spots. Would they put them over beauty spots, or would they create beauty spots? These ladies of the royal courts. And it's silk coated with isinglass. Isinglass, I think, is that material, that stuff that's from fish bladders. Literally, fish bladders. And also glycerin. Yeah, we're going to have to find out more about this. This is fascinating. Ribbit. Next is, maybe you should vote on your favorite and least favorite ribbits in this episode. Or just the sound effects in general. Which one do you hate the most? Which one do you like the most? Tell me. Next is court reporter. 2 words. Noun from 1894. A stenographer who records and transcribes a verbatim report of all proceedings in a court of law. So this is the person who is sitting at the typewriter. It is not a typewriter. The machine that they're sitting at, I think, is actually called a stenographer machine, something like that. And the keys are not, it's not the normal 26 alphabet letters that we've got. It's, I don't understand it, but it's the way that they tap the keys, they put them in different combinations so they're able to type words much more quickly. Maybe they're like different combination of letters. So I don't know, for whatever reason, they can type very fast on these things, and they're very interesting to me. I would love to learn more about them. But yeah, they're able to listen to what's going on and transcribe it, type it out very fast, and verbatim means that it's exactly what was happened. So if somebody says a lot or something, they're going to put it all in. As much as they can, they're going to put it in. And man, that's got to be quite a job. You got to listen and type at the same time, very, very fast. Okay, much respect to you court reporters, stenographers. Next. It is courtroom. 1 word, noun from 1677, a room in which a court of law is held. That's what it is. The room of the court. Next is courtship. 1 word, noun from 1596. I wish it were a ship where court of law is held, but it's not. It is the act, process, or period of courting. And of course, that's related to, if we go back, seeking the affection of somebody, maybe it's mating, those things. The frogs and toads, they make all the different kinds of species, they all make very different sounds. So, doing the standard whatever it is it's sort of stereotypical. They got all the sounds. The coqui frog, which we had before, they had a very high-pitched do-do-it. What else? I'm just going to make up something ridiculous. Next is courtside, noun from 1969, the area at the edge of a court, as for tennis or basketball. What was the other example? Oh, I guess handball, racquetball, you could have a courtside seat there, but it's walls all around. So it would be kind of hard to have a courtside view of a racquetball game. So courtside, I have never been courtside. I have been close. I don't remember the context, but I think we were given seats from a Bulls game. We were very low down. We were not quite courtside, but we were pretty close. That's the closest I've ever been. But it would be fun to have one of those seats next to I don't know, Spike Lee or whoever is got courtside seats. I'm just gonna hang out with you guys. We're gonna have some nachos and popcorn and watch a game. Okay, let's now talk about the next word. It is court tennis, noun from circa 1890, a game played with a ball and racket in an enclosed court divided by a net. So it's tennis. So it's still on a court. I mean, tennis is always played on a court, but this one, it's enclosed. Is that just what it is? Is it tennis with walls on all four sides plus a net? Maybe we'll post a picture if we can find it. Next is courtyard, noun from 1552, a court or enclosure adjacent to a building, as a house or palace. It's just the courtyard. It's the yard for the court. It's the court that's courted because it's surrounded usually by things and walls, and it's just a yard with grass and maybe trees and flowers and bushes and rabbits and squirrels and things. All right, we are changing it up. That was the last of the court words, the last of the C-O-U-R words, and the sound effect is going to be... It is couscous. It's just one word. Noun from 1738. A North African dish of steamed semolina, usually served with meat or vegetables. And then also just the semolina itself is called couscous. This became very popular in America probably in what year would that have been? Maybe was it the 90s? The early 2000s? Maybe the 90s, I think, is when the rest of us started learning about it. But it's been in North Africa for probably thousands of years, more than likely. Let's see. So this is French, couscous. Couscous, from Arabic, couscous, spelled K-U-S, also couscousu. So, and then we said, hey, we're going to change the spelling for some reason. I guess the French said that. I remember there was a commercial back in the day. Was it? I don't remember what it was advertising, but there was a shot of some guy, instead of saying, I'm a meat and potatoes kind of guy, he said, yep, I'm just a meat and couscous kind of guy. And every time I think about couscous, I think about that commercial. We eat this every once in a while. It's good. It's healthy for you. Everybody should be eating some of it. Next word. Rabbit. It is cousin. Noun from the 13th century. 1A. This can get very complicated. A child of one's uncle or aunt. So your uncle or aunt has a kid, and that kid is your cousin. In this case, it would be your first cousin, if they're from your uncle or your aunt. 1B, a relative descended from one's grandparent or more remote ancestor by 2 or more steps and in a different line. Well, that got kind of complicated, but yes, so let's take the first part of that. A relative descended from one's grandparent, so the child of your uncle or aunt is also a descendant from you share the same grandparent. So that's why they're your cousin. More remote ancestor, so if you go even further back, everybody below like the second generation of that ancestor is basically your cousin. You have more cousins than you do anything else. 1C, the synonyms are kinsman and relative, as in a distant cousin. I do honestly think that every single person on the planet are cousins. We're all cousins. Number 2, one associated with or related to another, as in the synonym counterpart. 3, this is just used as a title by a sovereign in addressing a nobleman. Hello, cousin. How are you, cousin? I'm great, cousin. I'm good too, cousin. Number 4, a person of a race or people ethnically or culturally related, as in our English cousins. So if you know your family is from some place, we'll say Colombia, the country of Colombia. If you have family in Colombia, they are your Colombian cousins. Cousinhood is a noun, cousinly is an adjective, and cousinship is a noun. What does the etymology say? Oh, let's see. Okay, from Latin consobrinus, that is from com plus sobrinus. Sobrinus or sobrinus? Probably sobrinus. And that word means second cousin. And that is from soror, which means sister. And there's more at the word sister. That's interesting that they chose to take it from the female side. That's not usually something that you see. So sister became sobrinus, which is second cousin. Why second is in there? Why isn't it just cousin? So fascinating. Is there a word that's just cousin? In Latin, I mean. Yeah, cousins, that gets complicated. I know that the thing that everybody gets confused about, and I still get confused about it, is once removed, twice removed, all that. So what that means, I can tell you this definitely, is that if they are of a different generation, then they are once removed or twice removed. That's where the number comes in. So your parents' first cousin would be once removed to you because they are up a generation. Likewise, your kid's first cousin or any numbered cousin, first cousin, second cousin, doesn't matter, that they would also be once removed because they are again one generation removed. So obviously, twice removed would be 2 generations up or down. But then where it gets confusing is are they my first cousin once removed, or are they my second cousin once removed, and or twice removed, or whatever? So I am going to just quickly look at this chart that I have seen, which helps to describe it. So I don't remember. Do you have to? Okay, so if you look at yourself, and then here we go. So your this is going to be so difficult. Your great aunt or uncle's kid is one generation up from you. They are your first cousin once removed because I think it's because they are your parents' first cousin. So they are your first cousin once removed. And then your parents' second cousin would be, oh boy, this is where people shut off. They just stop listening. Anyway, that's enough. We can just we're done with that. Okay, we have one more word for this episode. It is cousinage. Cousin, age, noun from the 14th century. 1, relationship of cousins. And the synonym is kinship. Number 2, a collection of cousins. And the synonym is kinfolk. It's a collection of cousins. Okay, so let's reread the words. Court of domestic relations, court of honor, court of inquiry, court of law, court of record, court of St. James's, court of sessions, court order, court plaster, court reporter, courtroom, courtship, courtside, court tennis, courtyard, couscous, cousin, and cousinage. Well, I think I'm just going to pick cousin as the word of the episode. We're all cousins. I did some genealogy research back, what was it, high school maybe? And I found out that I'm like 16th cousins once removed from Princess Di. So I think I would be technically 17th cousins with her kids. But that's the thing. That seems interesting and cool, but that's a whole lot of generations. And that means that there must be thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are in the same position as I am, and we're all related. So many more people are related to people like that than you even realize. Presidents were related. I think I found out under that same connection with Princess Di that Mitt Romney was in there somehow. Like you think you're disconnected from people, but we are so more connected than people will ever understand or be able to comprehend. I don't know. I just think it's fascinating. We both stemmed from the same, the same person who shares my last name, basically Park, Parke, who goes back to the, I'm trying to remember, the 1600s. The first people that I know from my lineage came over to America, quote unquote, America, on the Arabella boat in like 1632. And I think that guy or his son is the one that Princess Di and I share. You know, that he's the relative that we share. We stemmed off from there. So she came from one of his kids, and my lineage came from one of his other kids, something like that. And yeah, it's so fascinating. And when you do research like this, you just find out just how amazing all of this is. I don't know. I could talk for a while. So instead, I have to sing a song. We're all cousins. We're so connected 'cause we're all cousins. Although it's backwards, we're all cousins because we're so connected in relationships and lineages. Yeah. What a great place to end this episode. Let's see. Have I watched any movies? Yes. Yesterday we watched Parallel Mothers, Spanish movie from Pedro Almodovar. Where's the emphasis? Almodovar. I think that's where it is. That's a good one. Have we seen anything else? We're almost done with, maybe we're halfway through that show, Archive 81. It's pretty fascinating. It's a bit creepy. There's a couple of jumps that have gotten me. It's fascinating. Hey, that's the end of this bad episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to this podcast called The Dictionary. This is the first section of page 288. Yay. I'm sorry. I'm losing ideas. I'm lacking on the ideas for sound effects. So we're just going to see what happens. No, I already have an idea. It's just something very generic that I think I've done before. Okay, so the first word in this episode is cousin German. Cousin German. Yep, it's those two words that we're all familiar with, plus a hyphen. Noun from the 14th century, and it's just the 1A definition for cousin, which is a child of one's uncle or aunt. Why is it called cousin German? Let's see. It's from Middle English, cousin Germain. From Old French, cousin plus Germain, which means it just means German. Oh man, I need more information. I will not rest until I have more information about why this phrase is this phrase. And it just became first cousin. Are there other, so like second cousin? Did that have a whole other name like cousin German? What is happening? All right, if I find something, I'll put it in the show notes. Next. Next is cousin Jack. 2 words. They're both capitalized. The first letters are capitalized. Noun from 1890. The synonym is Cornishman, especially a Cornish miner. So one who is mining for something in the ground. Cousin Jack. I'm fascinated by where this came from. Doesn't tell me. Next word is couth. C-O-U-T-H. First form, adjective from 1896. The synonym is, there's two of them, sophisticated and polished. You might be familiar with the word uncouth. So this is just a back formation of that word. So did uncouth exist first? How can you be something that doesn't even exist yet? But of course, uncouth is pretty much the opposite of sophisticated and polished. I would be uncouth. Maybe I should try to be more couth. I don't think people really use this. Do they? I don't know. Next word is the second form of couth, noun from 1947. The synonyms are polish and refinement, as in, I expected kindness and gentility, but there is such a thing as too much couth. That is a quote from S.J. Perelman, P-E-R-E-L-M-A-N. Perelman? One of those. There's too much couth. Next is couthy. So it's couth with an I-E. It is an adjective from 1719. It is chiefly Scottish, and the synonyms are pleasant and kindly. Yeah, that seems very much related to just couth, polished, sophisticated. The etymology says it is from Middle English couth, which means familiar, from Old English couth, which is just a U in there, and there's more at the word uncouth. Oh, you're being so couthy. Pleasant and kindly. Next word is couture or couture, something like that. C-O-U-T-U-R-E. I think a lot of people have heard this word, but don't necessarily know what it officially means. Like me. Noun from 1908. 1. The business of designing, making, and selling fashionable custom-made women's clothing. So it has to be fashionable. That's very, very important. You must be fashionable. Otherwise, you can't call your clothes couture. And custom-made. Custom. I don't think that every piece is custom-made to that individual person. Maybe we're using this word a little bit too liberally. Number 2, the designers and establishments engaged in couture. And 3, the clothes created by couture. Couture, the couture for the couture business. Okay, there's etymology to speak of. It is from Old French, couture, which means sewing. So that's where it means. That's where it comes from. You sew stuff together, and it is couture. You make your own clothes. It's couture. From Vulgar Latin, consutura, which is from regular Latin, consutus, which is from the verb consuere, which means to sew together. From com plus suere, which means to sew, and there's more at the word sew. That's it. You're sewing stuff together, and you're making it couture. That's all it means. Next word is couturier or couturier. So we added, it's C-O-U-T-U-R-I-E-R, noun from 1899, an establishment engaged in couture, also the proprietor of or designer for such an establishment. Couturier. It is French, duh, and it means dressmaker. From Old French, couturier, which means tailor's assistant. And that's it. It's the one who is doing all of this sewing together. Next word is, again, couturier or couturier. It's we just added an E. So you can't say couturier, you can just say couturier. Noun from 1818, it is a woman who is a couturier. A man would be a couturier, a woman is a couturier, spelled differently, although to make it more complicated, you can also pronounce the man couturier as well. So they're just both couturiers. The etymology, it's the same. Next word is couvade. Couvade. It looks like couvade, but it is couvade. Noun from 1865. A custom in some cultures in which when a child is born, the father takes to bed as if bearing the child and submits himself to fasting, purification, or taboos. This is Middle French. It's French or Middle French, and it means cowardly inactivity. Cowardly inactivity? That doesn't seem cowardly at all. It is from couvert, which means to sit on or brood over. And there's more at the word covey. Let's see, I'm looking ahead. How do you pronounce it? Where is it? Oh, God, I have to go so far to find covey in this book. Covey. So I am so confused by this. I think we definitely need to find more information. This is such a fascinating concept. What cultures do this? When a child is born, the father goes to the bed as if he is bearing the child. Is the mother still in the bed? He gets next to her. Is it later? And then he submits himself to fasting, purification, or taboos. What kind of taboos are these? Why fasting? What sort of purification? This is fascinating. Next word. It is covalence. Noun from 1919. You can emphasize the first or the second syllables. Covalence or covalence. It is valence characterized by the sharing of electrons. It's electron sharing valences. Next is covalency. Noun from 1919, and the synonym is just, again, covalence. Relatedly, we have covalent. Adjective from circa 1926 of relating to or characterized by covalent bonds. And covalently is an adverb. Yeah, it's all chemistry stuff. Speaking of, covalent bond. 2 words, noun from 1939. A chemical bond formed between atoms by the sharing of electrons. It's so nice that they have learned how to share. Next word. It is covariance. Covariance. Noun from 1931. 1. The expected value of the product of the deviations of 2 random variables from their respective means. Clearly. 2. The arithmetic mean of the products of the deviations of corresponding values of 2 quantitative variables from their respective means. Again, it's so obvious, right? Maybe this is also related. Covariant. Adjective from 1893. Varying with something else so as to preserve certain mathematical interrelations. Again, we have a related word. I love it when this happens, don't you? Covariate. Let's see. Covariate or covariate. Noun from 1965. Any of 2 or more random variables. I said that so weird. Variables exhibiting correlated variation. You math nerds love this. I love you math nerds. All right, we have one more word that's connected to all of those. It is covariation, noun from 1906, correlated variation of two or more variables. Okay, next word. I think you would pronounce it covary. You have to emphasize the ver, covary. It is spelled C-O-V-A-R-Y. Intransitive verb from 1950. It just means to exhibit covariation. Oh, and so I guess that would be connected to the last one because that was our previous word. Covariation, correlated variation of two or more variables, and covary is exhibiting covariation. Next word. It is the word cove, C-O-V-E. First form, noun from before the 12th century. 1. A recessed place. The synonym is concavity, as 1A, an architectural member with a concave cross section. So concave means that it goes into the thing, like a cave, but it's a cove. I wonder if they just combined con and cave and got cove. Interesting. We'll look at the etymology after. 1B, a trough for concealed lighting at the upper part of a wall. 2, a small sheltered inlet or bay. Those are cool. I think we should post a picture of a cool looking cove, inlet, or bay. 3A, a deep recess or small valley in the side of a mountain. 3B, a level area sheltered by hills or mountains. Okay, etymology for cove. It's Middle English, and it means den. From Old English, kofa, akin to the Old High German chubisi, which means hut. I did not expect that. I don't think a hut I don't think of a hut when I think of cove. Those are opposite kind of to me. But that's language for you. Next word is the second form of cove. This is a transitive verb from 1756, and it is to make in a hollow concave form. Third form of cove, noun from 1567. It is British, and the synonyms are man and fellow. Why are we calling a man or a fellow a cove? Well, this is a Romani word. It's from the Romani word kova with a K, which means thing or person. So the Brits, if you're British, give me some context. How do you use this word, cove? Do you use this word? It's pretty old. Maybe you don't use it anymore. All right, we have one more word for this episode. It is covellite. You can emphasize the first syllable, covellite, or you can emphasize the second syllable, covellite, spelled C-O-V-E-L-L-I-T-E. Or you can change it to covaline with an N at the end. Noun from 1850. It is a usually blue mineral consisting of a sulfide of copper. So this is French from covaline. It is from Niccolò Covelli, who was an Italian chemist and died in 1829. Niccolò Covelli. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sulfide of copper, usually blue. So the words in this episode were cousin German, cousin Jack, couth, couth, couthy, couture, couturier, 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 couvade, covalence, covalency, covalent, covalent bond, covariance, covariant, covariate, covariation, covary, cove, covalite. Well, I think I am going to have to pick couvade couvade, as the word of the episode, because that was just so fascinating to me. I've never heard of this before, and if you know anything about it, I would love for you to tell me. Oh yes, and I don't remember if I finished this. Covey, it said there was more at the word Covey. It was from cowardly inactivity. Covey. I'm not gonna read that to you, but it will be at the end of the episode that airs on March 28th. Covey. Okay, Couvade. How do I sing a song about Couvade? I'm really confused about Couvade. What cultures perform this custom? If I could think of something that rhymes with Couvade, I would put it in the song, but I can't. Okay, that's going to be the end of this episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Bye-bye.